What happens when your band name is your brand name? I'm Mike Steger. I'm a trademark and copyright attorney. I'm going to give a couple of trademark stories about two of my favorite bands. And these stories are going to touch on some key trademark issues that apply to almost everyone. So one of my favorite bands is Goose. Right there. Sorry. They're a band from Connecticut, been around for about 10 years. They have registered trademarks for their name and their logo that cover all kinds of regular goods and services that bands provide, like playing live as a band, musical recordings, and all kinds of merchandise. And why am I talking about them as a trademark? Because there is another band that's become very popular and is getting a lot of buzz lately named Geese. Geese is also a rock band. They're from New York, not that far from Connecticut. So I thought, typically you cannot get a trademark for a plural version of a singular trademark for the same goods and services. So I looked. Geese does not have a registered trademark. I don't know what's going to happen with them if they want to try to get one, because typically the plural version would not function as a separate trademark for a separate trademark owner for the same services, particularly where the plural version is just made by adding an S or an ES to the end. Now, maybe there's a little difference between Goose and Geese. There are also probably some issues here because Geese was active as a rock band and playing before Goose filed its trademark application. So I'm sure Geese would be able to keep their name under any circumstances, even if they can't get a trademark registration. In all likelihood, what would happen is there would be some agreement between the groups as to what they could and could not do with their names. So that's the first story. Second one involves another of my favorite bands, Pearl Jam. Always good to have props on these videos. You may know, if you're a big Pearl Jam fan, the band's original name was Mookie Blaylock. Back before they had even released an album, they went under that name. But they fairly quickly changed the name. I never got any confirmation on this, but I am sure the reason they did that is because you cannot have a registered trademark for the name of a living person. And Mookie Blaylock still is a living person. And at the time, he was a fairly prominent NBA basketball player. And I'm sure the band got advice that you're going to need to change to something else because you're not going to be able to get a registered trademark and you're not going to be able to protect a lot of the services and merchandise that you're going to be selling. So whether or not you have a band, whether or not you like bands, if you have any questions about trademarks, I'm Mike Steger. Keep some of these principles in mind. Be glad to discuss your trademarks with you.